Episode 63. We have many of battles to still continuously get into here. Thrilled for a majority of them. So this puts us at a really good spot. And plus, I think we're in a really intriguing area where typically you would resolve all of the background, we're going to call them background characters, side characters, I guess. Yeah, that's the better probably term for this. You would resolve all of their conflicts and issues and battles prior to your main character while continuously weaving your main character in between, because they're like the big climax, like they're the big one that you need to see how everything ends in regards to them. So the conscious choice to allow Subaru's battle to end sooner, I think, makes things really interesting. I don't necessarily know if it's because it frees up Reinhardt to now go and help other people, which it definitely might, but it might have been like all that stuff happened and now we're just flashing back to like at the exact same time what's occurring. But if he doesn't become involved at all, it just proves that there are, at least in the author's mind, higher stakes when it comes to these other fights, which also could have been because Reinhardt's kind of with us, and to throw things for a loop a little bit, because if you write it in this sort of way, it gives more trust to Subaru that he's not that person that we have to build to have like the strongest or most difficult challenge ahead of him. And maybe it's also just due to the fact that he has no relation, or he has no real reason outside of Amelia being taken to have this strong hatred towards Greed, due to his knowledge of not knowing that Greed was the one involved with what happened with Rem, right? So Lust is not Lust. Gluttony is the one that he should be angry and after, and should be the high stakes, like emotional moments and everything that we get should come out of that fight. But Subaru's not in that one. So we can write it in a complete different way, which I think is really fun, and it allows for big moments with Wilhelm and Teresa, which I assume we'll get into in this episode, and Garf trying to avenge Mimi in a way. I think like those are the stronger, more impactful ones, which unfortunately does sideline Capella and does sideline Gluttony a little bit for probably the remaining few episodes here. But we'll see how everything unfolds. They'll probably be relevant in some sort of way, but to what degree, I think, will be the intriguing factor here. But this section is where we should really be at, following Wilhelm, following Garf, following them trying to overcome something and do something. They're the ones that we care for, and their stories and what they're trying to do here, I think, is way more, like, holds way more emotional weight than any of the other battles do right now. And even with Subaru's being included, and even with Priscilla's and stuff when we had that too. So these are like the big ones that I would expect, and I think is like written just in a cool way to allow this to be placed exactly where it is and sequence everything in that sort of fashion. I think is dope. I really actually enjoy that. Not necessarily needing Subaru to be the big final blow on these things. Now that could change, right? We could make him kind of intervene himself into these fights with Reinhardt and stuff, but I kind of feel like he thinks his battle's done, and I almost feel like it would be a little bit more fitting for it to be done and let these other things play out a little bit different, and give these guys the moment of shine that they really deserve, and flesh out these characters and even the viewer's own opinion and strength on what they're each capable of, so much more. So I'm excited for that. I'm assuming we go fully down that route, especially with where the cliffhanger kind of had us end off last time. And I'm curious to see where we head here. Reinhardt coming into this, and maybe even Heinkel at a certain point, involved with Teresa, would be an intriguing dynamic for them to go into. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, but it would be intriguing because it would be fitting. Hopefully you enjoy. Feel like it all, like and subscribe. Not feel free to stick around for the discussion on the comments with this better series going with episode 13 of season 3. I like the little design changes for Garf looking so much different. He looks a lot more ferocious and less petable than he did last season, that is. The battle you have to unfortunately face when you want to go into battle. Let's figure that out. Oh, brother, he might be an issue. It's not just the hands. go, weapons. Oh. Even in this form, Garv? Oh, brother. This might be bad. Down the whole thing? Oh, this might be rough. I want to believe in him, but at the same time, after witnessing what we just did, I kind of think we might need somebody to come help. Jeez. Get going, dude. Yeah. Yeah. It could be useful.
私んとこの魔法使いがくれた秘密兵器でな。どうも結構な力があるミーティアって話なんだが。待ってください。
And before it's not. I have so much we still need to know about what Otto did here. Like why he brought the Tomb of Wisdom and everything and who he gave it to. It's not gonna go down that easy. Reinhard can help this fight, right? She's got the blessing, doesn't she? We need all the help we can get fighting him off. What? Wow, dude. Alright. This is gonna be fun. We're just getting started. Rui. The other one's Roy, right? So those... Is there another one? This Al. What a noise. I wear this helmet for a reason. You drop some info on Al, maybe? You're gonna say it's him? I'm just trying to fight. Anastasia beyond some stuff. Sorry to hear that, doesn't concern me. Stronger man than me. Stronger man than me. There you go. Have fun killing her. How dare. Just tap into the mind.
一挙手一投足見逃さねえで全力で尽くすのが私。悪いが、その愛し方は人類にはまだ早すぎるわ。どうして拒みやがるんです？私のどこが何が気に入らねえんです？
What's beneath all of that?
俺はお前のこと好きでも嫌いでもねえ。
I honestly, I'm just here doing a job.
やっぱりお前気持ち悪いから嫌いだわ。
Damn. That was fun. That's fun. Just run, Al. Just run. Excuse me? I feel like that's not it, but what the fuck? It's gotta blow every part of her up. Got no other choice. She starts hitting. What do you mean by that? Staring at you with those eyes, dude. Ah. This motherfucker got 8 though. Damn. So he Reinhardt. You gotta do something to prove it. This seems more mental though, not like an actual you can't do it type of thing like Reinhardt's. Fun sound design. Oh! Oh, brother, this is gonna be hard. Come on, Garth. Can he swim? What if that's his weakness? What if he can't swim? Oh. Oh, fuck. I hate having to bring people in. Yeah, he's gonna hate this too. Fuck. Oh, now you really gotta show out. Don't go close to them. I don't need this motherfucker fucking dropping through here. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
愛しているわ。ガーフィール・ティンゼル。
俺は愛してね。お前はあの女じゃね
え。That's a big hurdle to get over.
離れてろ。
Oh, brother. Gotta get him out of here. This motherfucker closed it off. Okay.
いいからじっとしとけって。勝ってくれ。ゴージャスタイガー。
言ってるしかできないけど。
いや、いいから大将。やっぱり演説が効きすぎちまってんだよ。悪いな。果たし合いにしちゃ騒がしすぎるだろうが。特に一番うるせえのはあいつら俺の弟と妹なんだよ。
Finally seeing him. Hence reflection. Beautiful. A new nickname was born. Awesome. Oh, holy fuck. Dude. That's the best sequence we've ever had. Ever in this series. What the fuck? Wow. What the fuck?
泣いてんじゃねえよ。
バカじゃないの？うちが泣くわけないし。いいから寝てなさいよ。すぐに誰かチエスさんを呼んでもらって。
あ、くそ。
Why they're gonna bait us on a cliffhanger with this twice in a row.
苦みの加護。もとより長く戦えるとは思っていない。迷って出たなどとは思わん。天の差配にも期待はない。仰せならいずれ天上でいくらでも果たせる。夢など見ない。これは現実だ。テレシア、お前は美しい。だからお前はここにいてはならない。
A disgrace to her own existence. Stone Cold. What the actual fuck? I don't even know where to begin or what to say. I kind of just want to rewatch that sequence. We're gonna rewatch it. Probably not right now, but we're gonna we're gonna rewatch it. That is literally the best piece of animation that we've ever had within this series. And I said it before in I don't even remember if I said it. I said it during the episode 10 though. And if I didn't, I thought it afterwards and I posted it somewhere. I don't remember where. I posted it somewhere And I said that I love how even 3 seasons in, how even 60 episodes in, we're still able to set new peaks for animation within this series, which, to be fair, isn't too hard because the animation hasn't really been strong. Season 2 was atrocious, right? Like, so it isn't too high of a bar to really reach. But the fact that they still are able to invest so much energy and commit to being able to make this a better product here, I think is wonderful. And being able to up that even stronger, well, episode is a 10 on episode 10 as a whole is stronger all around. This episode, that singular cut, is literally the best thing that we've ever had within the series. And it's fucking incredible. I never once assumed that we were going to get animation of that sort of level and that sort of creativity within this series. I just didn't. It never set the bar for at any point. You know, there's no expectation that has been set as a result of what we've gotten up to this point that you would get something along those lines. So being able to see literally my favorite thing in the world get treated so excellently is a wonderful thing. Shit was bringing me to tears, bro. It was doing things for me. I couldn't believe it. I actually couldn't believe that. So excellent. I don't even have the words, I think, to properly describe how excited I was watching that and how many times I'm going to end up going back and rewatching that, and how excited I am to... I haven't watched any season 3 reactions, right? I'm a frequent reactor watcher, right? There's a reason I'm here, right? Like, it's kind of what happens. I haven't watched any from anybody. I typically don't on series that I'm actively watching. Like, I typically won't watch reactions for. But bet your ass I'm going to go find some for episode 13 afterwards and see some stuff. And I guarantee you I'm going to. Just completely not expecting that at all and catching me off guard. I will say I did expect something this episode. I had seen through a few different leak accounts that I follow on Twitter of people saying that somebody was working on the episode, but I'm not familiar with enough animators or their names or anything to know exactly who they are and what they're capable of. So I didn't think of it too much. Wrong on me. I maybe should familiarize myself a little bit more because, my God, I'm thankful that we were even able to get this. Absolutely gorgeous shit. Enough of me obsessing over what actually happened there. We'll get to more of it when we go back through the episode, but we do got to talk about the episode a little bit as a whole. It might be easier for me to go scene by scene, but I'll just overview some of the stuff and my thoughts on them, and then we'll go into a little bit more details, I think, a little bit later. Right now, the Al stuff at the beginning is really fun. He's such an entertaining character. He's so enjoyable to have on screen. He's the perfect match. We talked about this before, how it just happened to work out. Like, if you swap any of these other mashups with different characters, it ends up being a lot worse. And the outcome potentially is worse, but we just happen to coordinate the perfect people for the perfect battles, to allow us to have the strongest upper hand that we potentially can. And Al's the perfect person to oppose Capella here. So it worked out great. He's hilarious throughout. The interaction between the two of them is great because she's just funny in general too. His denial of her proposal that she had, which was extremely strong. He's a very strong man for being able to do so, and just being somebody who doesn't really care about the exterior, like the looks and all that stuff and all the things that she's capable of, because she's a gross person to begin with, so it doesn't really affect him in any sort of way, is of the worst thing in the world for her, right? She hates that. But it's it's wonderful, and he did a great job of just fucking around with her, and I loved everything about what he was doing. Seemingly what I'm getting out of that sequence, though, is we have to destroy all of her in one go. So he kind of blows her up in a way, but her head's still lasting. So I'm assuming he has to do something to kind of contain her and get rid of all of her at once, or else she has continuous ability to regenerate, which would make the most sense to me, which is okay. Or it's like straight Demon Slayer. You have to kill them in a certain spot or certain way to allow it, or with a certain item or something like that. For it to occur. I don't know the specifics, and I don't think we have a strong enough read on that, but my assumption right now would just be you have to dispose of all of her in one go, or you can't kind of get rid of her because she has consistent regeneration that she's able to do, and unlimited probably. Unless there is a limitation to it, then we can just keep beating the shit out of her until she's no longer able to. The other big key piece that's able to come out of that conversation is her coming to recognition of what's going on with the killing of the councilmen, with the flooding of the city, putting all this blame and stuff on Al, who makes sense. I mean, he's been somebody that we've been suspicious of for literally everything every time he's on screen, so that makes sense. But I did have a misunderstanding, I guess. My assumption based on the Anastasia Priscilla conversation that we had was her pressing Anastasia about the idea of these guys just disappearing and for what purpose that was. Like, seemingly like she knows exactly, like Priscilla became aware of it, of what Anastasia's been secretly doing, but then seemingly now we have the blame being put on Al. So I don't know if that's supposed to clear it up and be like Al's actually the one doing it, but if so, then if Al did all of this stuff, why Anastasia's the one who's being told this by Priscilla in any sort of intimidating sort of way? Like, what exactly does that do for us? Like, do to go against her? Was she the one who contracted Al to be able to do so? That doesn't make much sense because it's kind of opposing Priscilla in a way, like going against the person that's her rival in a way. So like I don't really understand that, unless it's not meant to be that way, and Anastasia's still the one who's like coordinated all that stuff happening, but Al's the one who just released the flooding and stuff for whatever that purpose were to be too. I guess it could work where she contracted him because Julius wouldn't go out of his way and do it, so you have to find somebody who like would do it, who maybe doesn't abide by the laws in the same sort of way that others do, like Julius, and uphold it to be this like knight status. So I guess that could make plenty of sense. Another big thing that comes out of it that gets me really suspicious is Al's like what he's capable of and his own abilities and stuff in general. And I'm trying to think of like his own reasoning for why he would do the stuff that he does. I mean, the flooding of the city just kind of helps them, but the stopping other people from coming in contact with pride, the killing of others, seemingly having no issues doing so. And I mean, we even saw that he's capable of killing a bunch of things to begin with when it comes to picking up the media that he was able to before he came in contact with Amelia. I wonder if he has an ability or something to do with death being a thing that fills him. I don't know the right words. I don't know how to word those. That gives him power, I guess, like the souls essentially of those that he disposes of, or the blood that like is obtained in a way through them, is something that potentially powers him. And if that's not the case, I wonder if there's some sort of weird thing that goes on where Al has something to do with the witch's cult in a way. He seemingly was aware of Pride's name. He seemingly is aware of the other members and like certain things about them and certain characteristics and stuff. Is there like, I mean, I might be saying the most insane shit, but like, is there a way that has something to do with Pride himself, which would make sense for, or maybe not, but he plans to take control of the Pride witch factor that is probably still contained within Typhoon, right? So is it like, is there a chance that something like that's going on? Because why he has all this knowledge about these things, seemingly something that he's been like researching and looking after for a extended period of time up to this point. And then also like why he doesn't want other people to come in contact or be able to potentially dig this thing up and take it. I mean, I guess it could just be you don't want the enemies to get it because it's the worst thing, but killing off all the other members. Well, I guess that would make enough sense that you don't want the enemies to be able to get it. So you have to kill off anybody who realistically would know. But at that point, why wouldn't you kill everybody off? And why are you still just keeping one around? I guess you could have just gotten that one to tell you about the whereabouts of where it is. Maybe you do keep one around because it's easier to keep track of them. And then you're able to potentially get this and dig this thing up for yourself in some sort of way. I don't know. I'm just creating like a bunch of random shit, but there's so much mystery and suspicion around Al and the reasons why he's doing the things that he's doing and what exactly he's doing that I wouldn't put it past it. But I don't know. I'm trying to think. He has something to do with it. I can't fully get a read on it. And he might have like other sort of ability or be capable of things that I'm not aware of either. But right now, that's the first thing that connects to me. And it's similar to the idea that we've constantly gone through like parallels of characters and things that they have. And Capella has some ability where she's able to look at and observe every single like aspect of a person and be able to essentially read their mind or their soul in a way. So if we're going to go the route, if we're going to say soul, for example, is the thing, and that's where she's able to like pick up on this thing when it comes to Priscilla without actually coming in contact with her and taking over this stuff, which is why, you know, she was able to get a read on Subaru and pick up all these other characters and switch to them while we had that whole interaction during the 5th episode. this would make plenty of sense for a direct parallel if he is somebody who's obtaining like souls and these things that are something that's utilized in a way to power him. Also suspicious enough, his star reference, that we could overlook it because it wasn't like the most suspicious thing in the world to say about the stars aligning. Like it's a saying at the end of the day, but like with how much emphasis has already been placed on it up to this point with the names of all the characters and what he's going against and stuff too, I wouldn't even put it past it that that's what's happening. And honestly, now I'm curious enough. I'm gonna probably regret doing what I'm about to do, but I'm curious enough that I want to look up what his full name is, not just L. And I'd assume that's probably a star name, which would be intriguing enough because Subaru being the only one that we're aware of that isn't an archbishop. But I guess it could just be the name. It's a bright orange red giant star. Okay, so it is, yeah. But it could just be a name given to people that came from Earth or Japan or something, or somebody has a reason for providing these sort of names. I don't know. He doesn't like being called it though, from what I remember, right? Like she called him that and then he got mad and said just like he'd only wanted to be called Al. I don't know. He's just so weird. There's a lot of mystery kind of shrouded around him. And I think on top of the fact that there's probably a lot of stuff that was cut from the early parts of the series that I haven't read because I never went back and read any of the novels and stuff. I should probably go look at that and figure out maybe if I can pick up on a little bit more info in regards to him up to this point. That maybe they hinted at some other stuff very early on that hasn't been really displayed yet, or would make a lot more sense if I had that sort of context to kind of back it up. But I think that is intriguing that he is the only other person that I'm aware of right now besides Subaru and besides the archbishops that go by that sort of name. Like why exactly is that the case? It could just be the Japan thing. Could be the other worlders, right? But then why are these other people being given these sort of names too, right? Who at the top is the one kind of coordinating and doing all this from the beginning? Is that the same person who essentially is bringing these people over and providing them with whatever these sort of powers they are all capable of obtaining and having here? Has kind of decided and for whatever reason just wanted good and bad to also be a mixture within it. I don't know. I feel like I'm just talking about everything, so we're just going to go through the episode. It'll be a little easier. I like the Garf stuff changing, his general design that he has, but this tiger being a little different. It looks a little bit more mean and ferocious than we got in the second season. I always thought he looked a little too fluffy and Tony the Tiger-esque, and I wasn't really intimidated or in fear in any sort of way by it. And I've seen some like art from like the Arc 4 manga or from like even the light novel and stuff, and they butchered him so hard in the anime. His aura was just negative. Like that's rough. Also interesting to note, he was very orange, I'm pretty sure, with what we got in the early episodes when the stuff would happen with Mimi and stuff. So the fact that he's not here, I wonder if it's just a lighting thing that's happening or if his arms are like slightly tinted different and because he's so full of blood here. I don't really know. Elsa, of course, consistently haunting him, and it makes it harder and harder for him to go out of his way and kill these things, kill anything that he has to go against. So that's why it's such a big moment, of course, when we get it later. But I like how Kurgan comes in here and he just decides, nah, fuck it, we gonna have an even fight here. He's a good dude. We learned a lot about him and the things that he was able to overcome and do for his people and the things that he kind of believed in, despite the fact that he was kind of looked at negatively through them and they kind of wanted to get rid of it. There's a lot of fucked up people within this universe, especially the ones who like had issues, of course, with like Rem and Ram having like the horns and stuff, and we don't like twins and we dispose of them and like everything like that. Like they're very like weird. I don't like it. They're very specific with the type of people that you are, and anybody who's slightly different in any sort of way, it's just fucked up. Like there's a very strong underlying like racism thing that of course goes on with this series in regards to like Amelia and everything in her own race, but within the races themselves, they're very like weird to each other too. It's kind of fucked up, a lot of the stuff in this universe. But I do like how he just does that and he's like, fuck it, let me take let me kill this stuff and we could have an even fight once again. And he just gets his ass kicked. This was scary from the beginning. Like, what exactly are we supposed to do? Garf's in a rough sort of spot. The boy Lai gets his ass completely eaten. Oh, why did I say it that way? You know what I'm saying. And yeah, things look good. felt as a media that apparently is strong enough to be useful against Reinhardt and anybody really in existence. Where she got this, the only one we're aware of is Subaru's phone, but like, what the fuck would that do against Reinhardt besides like stun him temporarily with the flash being taken on a picture? Like, I don't understand, unless they were able to find like another use for the phone to be something else. So I'm just going to assume through her own theft or through Reinhardt and through her newfound royalty in some sort of way, she's able to obtain something that is extremely like strong and useful. But I would assume because ROM had some sort of relevance within it, that it was probably through her obtaining it through like stealing and creating deals and stuff. I don't know though. We'll find out a little bit more about it, but it seems like it's to be trusted and it's going to be utilized in some sort of way to be able to help us here with Lai. I don't know how, but we'll figure it out. So we send her back to go get it. She is the blessing of like wind or something. I don't remember what exactly it was called, right? So she is naturally just extremely like quick. So she should be able to get there and back and not really have too much of an issue. So I think we're good on that front. I'm not too stressed that these guys won't be able to fully hold out, but I guess we'll end up seeing. Wasn't enough to kill him off, and he stays here. This guy pulled up more of a fight than I initially thought that we were going to be able to get here. That girl gone. I guess there are 3 here that Rui might like, as she looks at he looks at the 3 that are most powerful probably here, or most clever. Rui, are there 3? Or is Rui what they call themselves as one? I guess they could, you know, they have a ship name for each other. But I guess Roy and Lai does not make Rui, so that wouldn't make too much sense. What other ideas do I potentially have for this? Is Rui the master? Is there like one above all? And that one seemingly oversees these, and they kind of just work and do things for Rui, which could be really fucked up, actually, because that could potentially mean... I had fears. I talked about this already in plenty of episodes ago when Julius was going up against Roy. Because we're getting zero focus on that fight, that it seems like something's really suspicious, where either it's going to be the easiest thing in the world, which I don't believe it to be, or we're going to do something and they're going to be able to leave, so Lai and Roy, but there's potential that maybe Roy just gets away, and we are able to like do away with Lai or something here. And my idea was, if that happens, then of course we fail because we're unable to regain potential memories and things from Krush, or give them back, like, or rem back or existence or anything in that sort of way. But if that happens, like, we probably have to kill both of them to be able to get it, and not just one. So it just prolongs this and makes things like really rough. Now, what if there's a scenario where we are successful against the 2 of them, but Rui's actually like the one, or Rui's just a third one that becomes involved in some sort of way, and it doesn't matter that we end up doing that and nobody gets any of their shit back because there is this final one? I think that could make the most sense, where we kill them and we think all is good, and then we return to Rem, and Rem's still just like a shell, and then it's just like, what the fuck, I thought that we did something here, and then there's another one that we still have to go after for like a future season or something. I think could make a lot of sense. It could also just make sense to have whoever Rui is just appear out of random and be more powerful. Could be a morphed together version of them. Just splits themselves into multiple or something to keep themselves alive, more Regulus type style in a sort of way. I don't know. I don't think I have too many other ideas on that, but curious where that's going to end up leading and bringing us. This fight, as I talked about, is just hilarious overall to me. I love Al just not giving a fuck about Capella, and this being the first person that Capella really has to go against. That's weird. We talked about a bunch of the other important things that are going on there. Al Yuki's so good at her job too. Just makes everything great. Al's hilarious having moments like this. Just shifting. Crazy. I can't believe he turned down the overall proposal to get with her. He's a stronger man than me, you know. I could never. The human race is not ready for that kind of love, by the way. She hates. He's not really pulling anything too crazy out, you know, except for this, where he cuts the head and then he just immediately like skips back here. This is what I mean. When he blows this up, the head didn't get blown up at the same time, so the head's still alive to be able to regenerate. So he probably has to do it while the head's kind of on. I love the animation of just like her kind of getting like growing here. I think it looks so good, and it's kind of like goofy at the same time, but it's exactly what you'd expect. The woman who changes her expressions all the time in her appearance, kind of scary. But Priscilla, she be hitting me and shit. That there's nothing to take light. I love it. The stars sure are aligned against me today. Well, one of them are, but you yourself, are you in a battle with your own self? Nobody else is realistically here. So what exactly do you mean by that? Once again, Kurgan just waiting. Wake up. We gotta have a fair fight. He's a good dude. I like him. So even in the, how do you say this? Valkia, something like that. They face a lot of different discrimination and stuff. And I wonder, just a weird throw out there, has nothing, it might not be relevant at all, but we mentioned, was it Volcanica or something, early as like the holy dragon, in one of the episodes prior to this. Similar enough name. Is there any sort of relation to that? I don't know what relevance that would have, but just an idea. But we do find out that Kurgan went out of his way and he turned a bunch of the discrimination and terrible things that were, of course, happening to his people and within this empire around, which is a wonderful thing. He seems like a good dude. Seems like a lot of these people that they're using, of course, with Teresia as well, are good people who are just powerful and strong. And of course, you're going to want them on your side. So you have to use some sort of terrible magic in a way to allow that. The Devil Cleaver. I kind of hope Garf takes one of them and uses it as a weapon, but I don't know. He's not really much of a sword guy, so maybe he doesn't. Said if he draws all of them, it brings his opponent great honor. It's nice to see too, like, have a similarity to what Reinhardt's doing, but not actually be the exact sort of thing that is his scenario, where he like just simply can't do something. He just has to like almost respect the person that he's going against or view them worthy in some sort of way, which we're able to build directly up to by allowing Garf to get that at some point. Still just not strong enough, not capable of doing enough. Just getting fucked up completely by brother. Floods him and we break in here. It's the worst position for you to be in, but at the same time, the best. Worst because he could just be a terrible person, right? And this is what was concerning me, but to be fair, he did display all the positives early on, so it isn't going to actually be like that. He could just go out of his way and target these people and kill them, and that would be awful, especially knowing in your mind that you let these people die, so you're probably not going to feel too good about that, right? And I don't know if that would just make it easier for you to fight because you have to like avenge these people, or if it would just be harder because you're like, I just let all these people die, so how exactly are you going to react in that scenario? But it works out well because Garf also has to protect these people now. And having the two kids here is very important to him as well. These are basically his siblings, right? You got to protect them in some sort of way. How exactly do you plan to maneuver this and go out of your way to be able to do that? You got to really muster something up under you. But the problem is he still can't get over the whole Elsa scenario, which occurs right here. And by having her take the place of this, just shows that in general, killing is something that he's not necessarily good with, especially after what happened with her. It's his first time realistically doing that to anyone or anything. It's going to haunt him completely. But he looks back and he realizes these are people that I have to live for. These are people who are still out here and I have to protect them in some sort of way. So sometimes these sacrifices are meant to be made and are necessary to actually be done, which is a big hurdle to get over because even the smallest of enemies, you're definitely going to need to be able to take out at some point in the future. And it's not good if you're not able to. Going forward. So it's good that he's able to fully be able to go through this and get over that. You are not her. As an Elsa, I'm assuming. And look who decides to show up. Nice of him to stop the flooding and everything so they can have a better playing field to fight and give these people some room. And the moment he realizes that he steps up and all the people rallying behind him in support of him, and he's out here protecting his own people and showing his care for them, immediately is like, all right, you're a worthy opponent. Let's do this. And he takes that shit out, seeing that you're able to kill other people, seeing what you did to protect them. What a fucking dude. I wish there was more on him. I wish we got way more backstory and built him up more as a person as well, and not just an enemy we had to go against, because he's a good dude, and he's so cool design and everything, too. I really would love to learn more. And Garf, of course, being very thankful that happened, donning the name Gorgeous Tiger. Love that for him. And we end off just with a awesome fucking sequence that starts to get kicked off here. Some of the best shit that we've ever seen within this series. I will argue, just to be that guy, I'll have to rewatch it. I don't know if it was because I was just getting like overly hype and caught off guard about everything that was fucking occurring, or if it was hard to follow in itself. I struggled to really even know what happened. Like at the end, I was like, he's still standing. I didn't really understand anything. I didn't pick up on any of it, I'll be honest. So I'll rewatch it and see what exactly I can get, but I guess I could rewatch it now, and then we'll see. No, I'll do it later. But everything, it's so creative. All the different things that we go into, all the different frames like this are so fucking cool. The different shifting of colors, the taking on like everything. So fucking good. I'm not going to pretend that I know exactly what I'm talking about, but So sick. I'm assuming here at the end, though, he's able to bite him and bring him down. The eye thing's the thing that caught me off guard, too. I didn't fully expect his eye to be gone. So at some point this happened. So I'm going to have to go back and look exactly when he was able to do that. I was like, wait, what the fuck? That shit's gone. And then the cracking and getting the well done and the speaking from him is interesting, too, because it potentially shows that there is actually a person within this resurrected in some sort of way or recreated, I guess, to be these sort of puppets that they are. Still might have that like hint of that person within them, the soul of that person or that being somehow within them. And I wonder if this just probably sets up what we get from Teresa at some point in their fight while showing no emotion or anything. Probably being able to get some sort of dialogue that'll be the most important or relevant in some sort of way for Wilhelm to be able to hear. That'll probably just break him completely if he's able to overcome this likely and defeat it, would be my guess. And that's probably going to really suck when when it has to end up happening. But these people in general too, as we get to see with Kurgan throughout all of this, he takes on like the form of what you'd assume this person to actually be. And he holds those like morals and everything in the same sort of way. So I wonder exactly like what level their personality is kind of within this still. And what level that being is still alive within this other person. I don't know. I love the way he crumbled, and then the way that this kind of appeared at the same time I thought was really sick. And we get a nice little end sequence, of course. Very happy being able to protect and save all these people, but it takes a lot out of you. And here we go, cliffhanger again for the second time. Not convinced that you would hesitate, nor do I hold out hope that the heavens will be merciful. I will have plenty of time with my wife when I join her on the other side, but I'm not dreaming because this is reality. So good. Despite you being beautiful here, you're not meant to be here. You're not meant to exist here. And there's no reason for you to suffer any longer, even if this isn't you. Some fun setup, some great stuff throughout. The best piece of animation that we've ever had here. Al being suspicious as always. Great stuff. I'm very excited to see where we're headed here. This episode was much needed, I think. And I am absolutely thrilled to see what more they have in store for us for the remaining couple episodes. I hope you guys enjoyed. I yapped for a long time. I don't know how long this is going to end up being. This is one of the benefits, right? Typically, I watch these early because I got to work on these days. So I try and watch it early and then get to work afterwards. So I have to sometimes cut myself a little short, sometimes speed some stuff up. Not ideally what I want to do because I love this series and I want to talk about it. Today, Crunchyroll messed up and didn't release the episode at a certain time, so I didn't really have a version to download. So I had to kind of wait until I got home at night. So we're recording this way later than I want to, but it allows me to kind of pace myself a little better and speak on this the way I want. So there's some benefits, but sometimes you got to be a little bit more quiet when that happens too. So I don't know. There's trade-offs. We'll see how it looks in the edit, of course. I'm thrilled though to see what else is to come. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you liked it, like and subscribe on me. Feel free to check out the video channel and comments of this other series. I'll be back for episode 64, season 3, episode 14 next week. It's a great one though.